Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Raw Radiant Health, and I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to talk about sunscreen. I got so many amazing comments yesterday and today about yesterday's episode on making your own skin cream. And a few people were asking me what my view is on sunscreen and any other options besides using sunscreen, and like any natural things we can do. And so I want to talk about it because this is a topic that can be very confusing. I think most of us know that there's two different views and opposite views of sunscreen. Mainstream media has told us that, you know, we should be wearing sunscreen every day to protect ourselves against the sun and harmful rays coming from the sun, which can lead, they say, to skin cancer, to sun damage, burning, and wrinkles and skin aging. So that's one side. Then you got the opposite side that's saying, yes, we should be protecting ourselves against these harmful rays if we have prolonged sun exposure. But sunscreen is filled with so many toxic chemicals and substances that it could be more harm than good. And even worse is we slather the stuff on our skin every day. It's getting absorbed into our bloodstream, and at the same time, right after we're slathering it on our skin, we're running out into the hot sunlight and baking the lotion on our skin, which makes it even more carcinogenic and toxic. So what do you do? Because yes, it is obvious that if we're out in the sun for an extended period of time, it can have some effect. It can damage your skin. It can cause wrinkles, and we know that. And so what's the best option? I think one thing that I really want to point out is that this is an individual thing, because we're all different. We're all living like different parts of the world, and we're all at different age groups. We've got different skin types. We've got different backgrounds and histories of sun exposure and burning and all sorts of stuff. So each person is different, and a different diet, and our diet as well has an effect on how much we're going to react to the sun. So I just want to point that out, that it's really an individual thing. And I think the main thing is that there is an agreement that sunscreen is quite toxic. I even had, like, even 10 years ago, I asked my allopathic, like traditional general practitioner doctor, what her view was of sunscreen, because it was right at the beginning of a lot of like mainstream advertisement and pushing for people to wear sunscreen all the time. And I was a little bit uneasy about it, and I asked her what her honest opinion was, and she had told me that she believed that sunscreen was more toxic than going out with nothing on in the sun. And I was amazed that, like, you know, a traditional allopathic conservative doctor was telling me, you know, she didn't believe in sunscreen and that I shouldn't wear it at all. And I have to say, I was very confused after hearing that. But it made me look into, why is she saying that? What's going on? What am I being told, and what am I not being told? And in all, what I realized was that I really have to listen to my own body. And what I found interesting too was when I went raw, I heard a lot of testimonials of a lot of people saying that when they got into raw foods, after a while, they no longer burned when they were in the sun. And that's because from the natural health movement, there is a view that a lot of the sun damage is not actually coming from what's coming from outside, it's coming from what's inside going out. And what that means is that there's a strong view that whatever you're eating, you're eliminating through your skin, and if you're eating a lot of things that have chemicals and additives and preservatives and pesticides and heavy metals, that we're excreting that through our skin, and it's baking on our skin in the sun, and that's causing sunburns and skin damage. And that makes a lot of sense. And so I did an experiment last winter. I went to Hawaii over the winter, and I wanted to see, because I'd been on like a raw food diet for almost a year at that time, and I wanted to see, like, am I going to burn? And this is a Canadian fair-skinned girl going to the tropics to see if, by not wearing sunscreen, is she going to burn? And I did burn. I burned pretty well. But the interesting thing was that I did burn, and I did have to wear sunscreen for a little while to transition into sort of climatizing my skin to the sunlight. But once I sort of got a base tan, I didn't need to wear sunscreen anymore. And since then I haven't. And all summer, like most of you know, I ride my bicycle for about 2.5 to 3 hours every day, and I don't wear any sunscreen. And I don't get burned. So what are my suggestions to protect ourselves from the sun and sun damage and everything? And the first thing I have to say is our diet. The more raw foods you have in your diet, the purer your diet is, the better. I mean, that's just basic. Is if you're having a diet that is full of preservatives and additives and chemicals and dyes and heavy metals and all sorts of like weird foreign matter in your diet, and you're eating that, it's not good on your skin because it's being released through your skin. So the purer your diet is, the better. I also really suggest is, if you're out in the sun a lot, to be eating a diet that's full of antioxidants. And that means eating a lot of berries, a lot of greens, a lot of things, anything that has rich pigmentation, because that's what's going to protect you from free radicals, from the UV radiation, everything. Super, super important. So if you, on a daily basis, make sure to get your blueberries in and all of that. And another suggestion as well is that we know that peak sun hour is between 10 and 2. And like we all know, I go riding my bicycle every day. But I don't go at 10 o'clock in the morning and ride for 3 hours when it's the hottest and strongest sunlight. I either go first thing in the morning, or I go after 2 in the afternoon. So, because I do believe we do actually need sunlight. That's how we get our vitamin D. And so it's actually super important that you're exposing your skin, and about 60% of your skin, to the sunlight every single day for 30 minutes to 40 minutes every day. But you don't need to do it at noon. You don't need to do it at high sunlight time, but just do it when there is sunlight and be out there. And don't wash your skin right after, because they've now come to realize that you can be out in the sun and then you come in and you take a shower and you scrub all the vitamin D off. So let it absorb in your skin for a few hours before you take a shower. Another suggestion too is if you're going to bake in the sun all day on a beach, then use a sunscreen. You can get a sunscreen at a health food store. I suggest that you go, there's this one website that is it's a database of safe cosmetics, and you can plug in the type of sunscreen you're using, and they will let you know, like on a scale, as to like how toxic it is and how safe it is. Because there are sunscreens out there that are safe. It's just, it's doing the research and making that effort on your own to know. But there are. So I hope that this is something that can help and something to think about. And really the main thing is just listen to yourself and see how you react to the sun and what works for you and what doesn't. And follow that. That's what's most important, because you know everything. All right, so I will see you tomorrow. Bye.